Hi guys, it's Adventure Nerd. In this video, I'll talk about how to be a vegan and vegetarian in Asia. And so some countries like like countries like China, South Korea, Japan, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore. These are hard countries. For example, there are many more countries in Asia. It's very hard to be vegetarian and even vegan. So let me address how you can do that. So this is the first thing you can do. What you can do is you can so let's address how to be a vegan. Let's address that. So let's talk about how you can be vegan in China. So this is a couple of ways you can do it. The first way is to basically prepare your own vegan food before you leave your home country. Prepare your vegan food and pack it with you and take it with you to the country you want to go. For example, let's say just for the sake of the illustration, just I talk about, for example, China. So I pack my own vegan food and take it with me to China. You could do that, or you can have what's it called? You can also bring your own pot of the electric. There's some electronic stuff, and you put hot water. You can put water in, and it'll boil it for you, and you could just plug it on the outlet, and it'll boil it for you, and you can use that for hot water, and you can put rice in. And you get a cup and put some rice, and you boil it. You got some rice there. That can work as well. Or use that if you're gonna drink coffee. You can use the hot water to make coffee and use this. These coffee prepare. I think these ones, and you can pour your coffee in it. So yeah. So there's a couple of ways. Again, if you're gonna be vegan and let's say, so that's one way to bring your own food and bring your own equipment. Your own pot. You bring your own the electronic boiler, for instance, or you get and bring it with you. You could also what's it called? Vegan. Yeah, another thing you could do. Yeah, and while let's say you're not home that country, say in China, for example, and you're like, oh, I need vegan food. Well, what you can do is get some rice in the supermarket, and cook some of that in the boiler, and get some of your own vegetables and your own vegetables and an onion, and cut it. You can cut it out. Maybe get a knife buy maybe a knife, for example, in China, and cut it, and use that to cut it, and cut the vegetables. Maybe a cutter. You have to throw out before you leave your own country, because the customs will not accept the knife. Maybe the cutter, they will accept it. Yeah, you can use that. Uh, and then you can put your own spices in it. You can put your own, for example, if you're Indian, you might like to put some Indian spices in there. You can get some salt and black pepper from the supermarket. So you can get a lot of your stuff in the supermarket. Some things might be Indian spices. You might want to bring it with you, for instance, if you love Indian food. I know a lot of people out there love Indian food, or Turk. Yeah, a lot of Indian food. Yeah. So another thing I like to talk about, yeah, so that's something I do. Another way you can do is you can also eat some fruits and vegetables, raw fruits and vegetables, and you can also eat that as well. You can eat raw fruits and raw vegetables and raw nuts. You can eat that as well, as well as vegan. So there's a couple of ways, but I recommend if you're vegan, stay away from what's it called? More likely stay away from the bread and the noodles, because they most likely might have milk or eggs. So your best safe bet is to stay away from them, unless you have, for example, you made a friend in, say, China. For example, you made a local friend in China, and that if you make a friend in China, or for example, let's say you make a friend in that country, or you get a girlfriend or boyfriend in that country. They could basically be your translator. They can look at the ingredients and ask them, okay, all right, what are the ingredients are made out of, or ask the restaurant if there's any vegan restaurants out there in that country, or ask them to set up a vegan meal for you, for you particularly. Um, yeah, so that's one way to do it. A couple of ways to be vegan. Now let's address about being a vegetarian. Again, it's the same. Vegetarian, you have more options than vegan. You're not restricted as like with the vegans. And again, the same kind of techniques with vegan you can also do with vegetarian. Uh, with vegetarian, you're open to eating eggs, and vegetarian, you can open to eating bread and noodles. So you're safe to eat that as well, because you're open to eating vegetarian, open to eating eggs. Again, it depends how you define. I should be very, very picky on this. It depends how you define vegetarian. So if you're vegetarian, let's say you're not you don't want to eat any egg in your thing, but you're okay into eating milk, for instance, then you're better off not eating noodles, and you're better off not eating noodles or bread. So stay away from that, and just go follow the strategies on vegan. Um, uh, but if you're open to eating, or if you don't like your vegetarian food being cooked under like a restaurant that cooks meat, for instance, like if you go to a pizza shop and you want to order a vegetarian pizza, but that pizza shop also makes pepperoni pizza and makes chicken wings, and you don't want your vegetarian food being cooked under that in that restaurant because they make meat, then you're gonna obviously have to follow the strategies of being a vegan in that case. But if you're open to eating eggs or milk, and you're open to, for instance, your vegetarian food being cooked under a restaurant that makes meat, then yeah, you have more options. You have options. You can eat in the restaurant. You could just tell the restaurant, okay. You could tell the translate. You can use the Google Translate. Tell them what you really want. So both vegan and vegetarian, you can use a Google Translate and tell them what you want. Use Google Translate or your local friend or your girlfriend or boyfriend. To help you can use your local friend or your local or your Translate app to basically tell them, okay, what you want, what kind of vegan meal you want, what your vegetarian food. You have to be very specific. So you would have to be very, very specific. You'll tell them, oh, no meat. Just give me noodles with vegetables. No meat, no pork, no noodles, nothing. Don't put any meat. No nothing. No meat. No anything. No animal thing. No animal products. Nothing. No, give me just noodles, and tell them just noodles and vegetables. That's it. No meat. You have to be very specific in the Translate app, or tell your boyfriend or your girl, tell your local Chinese local friend. So there's a couple of there's some strategies that you can do to be vegetarian, vegan, and you can be. It's possible. It's just you're gonna have to, you just have. It's possible. You may have to, you get a. So here I'll summarize it. Use Google Translate or a local friend to get basically to tell the restaurant what kind of vegetarian or vegan food you want. Tell them to get rid of the meat. Just tell them very specifically. Um, so local, when you local friend, I mean local friend in that country. So you'll get a local Chinese friend, for instance, as an example. Again, the second is maybe get an Airbnb and then cook your own food. Cook your own food. Cook your own food. And cook your own food. Go get food from the supermarket, and yeah, go get food from the supermarket and get that as well. Yeah, so that's another option. Get some food in the supermarket and and cook your own food. Again, yeah, and you decide what you want. I would say stay away from the bread and noodles if you don't want any egg products or milk products. So stay away from the egg and the bread, the noodles and the bread, because and yeah, another option is prepare your own vegetarian or vegan food from your home country and take it with you. For example, if you're Indian, take some aloo paratha or take some roti and take it with you to India, for example, to China or Thailand, whatever. You know, yeah, you could bring them with you. You can bring them with you. You can also bring your own spices. Bring your own spices with you, masala, whatever spices from bring it with you in your home country. Bring your own, whatever to bring your home country from your own. So bring your own spices. Like your Indian spices or whatever, yeah, from your home country to the country you're going to visit, like Thailand, for example, or for example, Thailand or whatever, or Japan or China, whatever. Also, I forgot to mention another thing you could also do I forgot to mention for vegetarians, is you can also go to Indian restaurants. They're really good. Indian restaurants have a lot of vegetarian options as well, like for example, aloo gobi, for example, matar paneer. Again, a lot of Indian food. Unfortunately, if you're vegan, Indian food may not be appropriate for you because a lot of them make most of the food is made of milk. So maybe a problem for the vegans, but for vegetarians it's possible. Vegetarian is possible to eat Indian food as well. And I know a lot of people love Indian food, so that's an option because there are a lot of Indian restaurants offer Indian food. Most of the menus are Indian. In most of the food in India is vegetarian. So you can go to Indian restaurant and eat it there. For example, in Thailand, there's an Indian town. So you can go there and get Indian food. You can go to, for example, Hong Kong, and there's like in Chungking Mansion, there's Indian food. There are a lot of places out. There's a lot of there are some Indian restaurants, and there are some Indian restaurants out there. So you can get vegetarian food from Indian restaurants. I forgot to mention that in the video. So I hope you like this video. Please like, comment, and share this video and others. Please hit the notification bell. Please hit the give my video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. So you can please subscribe to my channel. It will be very helpful. Help my channel a lot. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and bye for now.